drivers are going to have to tame this season. My name is Joey Atterbury, and joining me in the booth is Jacob Reeves. Joe Donahue working the controls as our producer, and the camera angles being provided by Dougie Beard. We are about halfway through the regular season of this eStockCar World Series. Tonight is going to be race number 5. The points are starting to take shape, and we've had 3 different winners in the 4 races so far. Last time out, we saw our first repeat winner with Blake Reynolds as everyone took to the road course down in Austin. Tonight will be another daunting challenge, even though these drivers find themselves in familiar territory and back on an oval. Darlington is such a unique track that is loved by drivers and fans alike. Jacob, what makes this place so special?
Well, Joey, what makes this place very special is that it is in Darlington, South Carolina. It's just a little bit under a mile and a half long. The track was established in 1950, with the most recent change coming to this track in 1999. The track is actually egg shaped with 1 and 2 very long and 3 and 4 very tight. And Darlington stripes are very common here. A lot of these drivers that you'll see tonight will probably be brushing into that wall, and it's very common for drivers to have that. 25 degrees banking in 1 and 2, 23 and 3 and 4. As you mentioned, that the track is known as the Lady in Black. And fun fact about this place is that there was a guy that had bought this piece of property, and he requested, the guy that actually had owned it requested that it not be disturbed, the minnow pond not be disturbed, and that is why this track is in the egg shape as it is.
Yeah, it's very interesting down there in Darlington, and one of the favorite racetracks, like I said, by fans and drivers. It's just so unique, and it gets its uniqueness from that quirky little story. And before we get into any of the action tonight, I just want to say thank you to Maconi Entertainment. Without this, none of them would be possible, as well as Maconi Setup Shop, the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and even more on iRacing. If you're interested in anything that Maconi can do for you, head on over to www.maconisetupshop.com and check out everything over there under their suite. And looks like finally we are getting going tonight here. You see, there's about 2.5 minutes left in qualifying. We're at Darlington Raceway for 75 laps tonight, Jacob. And like I mentioned, cars are going in qualifying. Some cars have finally put down a lap time. Right now, it's provisional pole going to the number 2 of Connor Berry. Not a very big surprise because he's traditionally one of the fastest drivers on the track.
Yeah, Carter Berry had a very good run last week at Coda. Had that misfortune of pitting just a little bit early. He was racing pretty good with Barrett Paulhamus right there at the end, but he came up third, and him and Barrett Paulhamus is pretty tight in the points last I checked. So they are very tight, and this place might get somebody ahead, might spread it out, or heck, it might still be close come to the end of this.
Well, you mentioned the points too, and all of these racers, this is round 5 of this 15 race season, but there's 10 races in the regular points championship here. And so it's finally starting to take shape. We've only had one repeat winner, and I'm actually looking through the entry list, Jacob, and something that we were talking about before we came on air, I don't see Blake Reynolds right now.
Yeah, Blake Reynolds, he literally dominated the race last week at Coda. He literally just waxed them. I mean, it was it was one, or if I remember correctly saying last week, it was a butt whooping, if I'm not mistaken. I have to quote myself right on that. But yeah, it was just absolutely barn burner last week. I think there was like 6 cars or 6 trucks, excuse me, that was on the lead lap. So he absolutely waxed them, and I do not see him on the entry list tonight. So where he's at in the points, a lot of these guys, if they have some good runs tonight, they can jump him right here.
Well, maybe this is a chance for the rest of the field to kind of get a little bit of a reset out there and catch up, like you were mentioning. And Only about 45 seconds left in qualifying. Hayes Booth has taken over the provisional pole right now. Looks like Lance Marsh and James Burke on the racetrack, the only two cars that are currently turning laps. And these drivers only get 2 laps for their qualifying attempt. And once it's done, we'll be able to wrap it up, provide you with the starting grid, as it looks like the number 7 of James Burke got really, really loose coming out of turn 2. And I don't think that's the last time that we're going to see these competitors kind of wagging the tail. And there comes a stripe already for the number 7 car. And looking like 10 seconds left, that is going to wind out qualifying here. Like I mentioned, we're going to be doing 75 laps at Darlington for the night. And we'll have the official grid pulled up here for you in just a second here as this session switches over, and we're going to get everybody lining up on the pre-grid on the front straight oval. And look at that. It is the number 5 of Hayes Booth that has the pole position today. Connor Berry in the number 2 truck is going to join him on the outside of the front row. Keaton Swain in the 3rd position. Paul Mikologic in the 4th spot. Tyler Green rounding out the top 5. Riley Marabello there in 6th. Barrett Polimas 7th. Lance Marsh in 8th. Nicholas Dashley there in 9th place, and Troy Nissen in 10th spot. Jacob.
And once the starting grid gets lined up over there on that spot, I'll get the rest of the results for you. But
I got it here for you. It looks like in 11th place we got Christopher Fathke, 12th Zach Drapkin, AJ Marth in the 13th position, Matthew Jarrett 14th, Franklin Monick in the 15th, Christy King 16th, Matthew Hofert, John Lynch, Patrick O'Toole, James Burke, and then Brian Toller will be rounding out the top, or I should say, our 21 truck field here. And I know that we're just getting everything going over here. The pace car is just rolling off the grid. We'll have you back to the live action here soon enough as we get this starting grid pulled away. And Jacob, we're going to have a quick pace lap here. Any final thoughts before we get the green flag?
Well, these race starts are going to be really, really tough on these guys right here, Joey, especially coming off of turn 2. If they overdrive turn 2, they're going to absolutely slap the wall, and anybody that's behind them is probably going to have to dart it all the way to the bottom, try to make sure that they can try to miss them. And also with pit stops coming up, that pit entry is very, very tough. It's probably one of the toughest pit entries in all of auto racing. Trying to get it wound down and trying to get it slide in there with all these tires that's going to be wore out. So it's going to be an awesome race, man. I can't wait for the sucker to get going.
Yeah, with that, I look and I see that the pace truck lights are out. The field is in the hands of Hayes Booth, the number 5 truck. Connor Berry lined up alongside him, patiently waiting for Barney the flagman to drop the green flag. Looks like the 5 is going to be on the gas. Very even start here between these two, and we're racing under the lights at Darlington.
Yep, got Hayes Booth right here on the bottom, Connor Berry right up top. Already got a wreck in the back. Looked like somebody got loose before they got into turn 1. All the field just trying to scatter, just trying to get around them. And you got the caution out right here, Joey.
Yeah, looks like Paul Mikologic there was one of the trucks that had some trouble. Saw that he started in the 4th position, and he's already on pit road. I hear Christopher Fathke on the radio as well, and I know that these trucks can be a little bit of a handful on such a low grip racetrack. And I think we just saw maybe some drivers getting a little bit too aggressive here going into turn 1. We're going to catch a replay of exactly what happened here, Jacob.
Yeah, everybody just real tight right here. I know there's probably a lot of nerves for this race right here at Darlington. And you see right here, the 5 and the 2, they're going to get a good start right here. Mikologic right here on the outside of the 21. They just drive it straight into turn 1. And it just looks like, it looks like he just kind of slid up a little bit, got a little loose and flipped up into the fence. That is, that is not good right there just to start the race off, or just to start it off like that.
Well, that's why the number 77 indeed had to tow, because he was stuck in the catch fencing. What a start. And you called it right. The 77 just got loose on the outside, got what into look to be the 21 truck, which was below him, and unfortunately that just put him up into the outside wall. And it's cold tonight. I'm looking at the weather right now, and it's actually set to be pretty fast. Uh, 68-degree ambient temperature, 70 degrees on the track, so might be a little bit slippery out there, but most importantly, these trucks should be very, very fast, and maybe just got to get it warmed up a little bit first before you go charging in there.
Just get them warmed up a little bit. Just kind of just everybody just needs to settle their nerves. It's a long race, 75 laps. These trucks, they have a lot more downforce than the Cup cars do. So you're able to run these a lot harder than a Cup car and the Xfinity car, especially here. But it's it's just kind of hard to see that right there. I mean, I hate it for Paul Michalogic right there at the start. I mean, he ran so good last week at Coda, and then all of a sudden, right here on lap one at Darlington, he's already probably DNF from the race.
Well, racing is a cruel, cruel mother. She will seduce you in with trophies and victory lane, and then she'll spit you out into the catch fencing, just like how Paul found out here. But looks like we're going to get the restart here. I think the pace truck lights are, in fact, out right now. Hayes Booth is going to line them up. I think we're going to go... Are we going to go single file here, or are we going to get a double file restart? Because it looks like the field is going to go single file for this restart, and I think that might be a good thing. Just get a couple green flag laps going, maybe get this race a little bit of a rhythm.
Yeah, I believe that might be what the admins and all of them are probably trying to get right here. Just trying to, get it single file, kind of old school, which is kind of crazy right here. Thinking, about Darlington and all the throwback stuff that they have. So kind of going old school on this restart right here. But I mean, Connor Berry's gonna be right up his five's tail going into one. So we'll see what happens.
Connor Berry got a great jump on the last initial start, and here we go. Hayes Booth takes to the green flag underneath Barney the flag man. We're racing off into turn one at Darlington. A little bit more of a clean start now that we're single file here on lap number 5 of 75. And look at this. The number 5 with an impressive jump off of the gas up through the gears and has pulled almost 5 truck lengths over the number 2 as Connor Berry really slides it up towards the wall, and Keaton Swain in the 3rd position.
Yeah, Keaton Swain ran real good last week, got him a top 10 at Coda, trying to do what he can, trying to see if he can get up here with Connor Berry, and he's got a rear view mirror full of that 14 truck, but I'm telling you, Hayes Booth, he's checking out. I don't know if that's a good idea for him because he's probably going to burn his tires up as you see the 14 going below Keaton Swain.
38 of Brian Toller spun off at turn 4, has damage, but we stay green flag. And yeah, we've got a nice little pack here for second place between Connor Berry, Tyler Green, and Keaton Swain, all grouped together on the racetrack. And you mentioned Hayes Booth kind of running out away with it right now. He's got a 3/4 of a second gap over the number 2 truck of Connor Berry. And in fact, here they come around that lap truck. He's staying down on the apron. Great awareness there from Brian Toller, letting the leaders and the rest of the field through.
Yeah, that's a showman. That's a show of respect right there. I mean, especially early in this race, but a show of respect in general. Trying to let some of these leaders by. As you see, Hayes Booth, he seems like he's just on cruise control right here, but it's like I said earlier, man. He's got to watch himself because this place is just like Atlanta, where they ran 2 weeks ago. This place will eat your tires up, and before you know it, you're going to be sliding up. You're going to be slipping, sliding. Might slide up right into the wall and try to get you one of them Darlington stripes.
Let's go back and take a look at the number 92. Riley Marabella just made a beautiful move down into 3 and 4. Moves by Christy King there, puts himself up into the top 10 right now, and he's actually on a charge. He didn't have the best initial start, and I think he's got some speed inside that number 92 machine. And look at this pack coming off of turn 2 there. Kind of stacked up a little bit further back, and it doesn't matter if you're racing up front or back here for 10th place. It is fantastic tooth and nail racing.
Yeah, this is some awesome racing. It looks almost like I-75 close to where I live right now. They are jumbled up. Everybody just trying to dive it in. As you see this guy, whoa, he just dove it straight in there real hard. Looked like the 52 kind of got up into the wall and looks like, oh, and right there, turn two, right, as I said earlier, that is a very tight turn right there. Anybody on the top, you're just at mercy at the guy on the bottom, just hoping to God that they just don't slide up and just fence you right there.
Yeah, the 52 is Franklin Monnick there, and continuing to watch Riley Marabello because it looks like he is actually the fastest car on the racetrack, at least in traffic right now. He made his way up through that initial pack. I see a little bit of front end damage on the front of that number 92 truck, but look at the closing rate that he's got on AJ Marsh in front of him, and it just seems like Marabello has a beat going with this lady in black right now, and they're dancing rather nicely together.
Yeah, they're dancing really nicely. Yeah, just like you said. I mean, I've raced here a couple of times, Darlington, and Lady in Black's been kind of good to me. She sometimes she's kind of screwed me. I'll just be honest with you. But as you see right here, Marabello, he is looks like he's hauling the mail right here, even with that front end damage. But Joey, you got to sit here and think with that front end damage, the way that it is right there, is his truck kind of going up in water temperature and everything as hard as it looks like he's driving it? I mean, is there a possibility that he might be pushing the limits on that water temperature?
I don't think so. I don't think on the mechanical side of things it's damaging. I would probably bet that he doesn't have the front end grip that he wants, but you never know. It might have knocked something for the better in there because he continues to knock off some of the fastest lap times. And you saw him go by AJ Marsh. Matthew Jarrett is next in line, and I'm looking at this lap time, and yeah, he knocked out another half a second from the sixth place runner of Matthew Jarrett. And nothing's changed up front. Hayes Booth continues to lead by 3/4 of a second over Connor Berry. Tyler Green there in the third place. And looks like we've got another yellow flag on the racetrack, is trying to spot exactly who went around. Not sure who stopped. I see Matthew Hofert and Patrick O'Toole maybe got into a bit of a mess there as they're a little bit slower, but trying to find the incident.
Yeah, it's very common right here, probably about this time. Usually, you get to do a couple laps in. You got some guys they might have overdrove their trucks just a little bit too hard. Might have started wearing on them tires a little bit, and they might have got they probably had that carrot dangling in front of them. They probably had that guy sitting right there in front of them. They wanted to try to, oh, I got to pass this guy, and they might have just went up there and burnt their stuff up, and and that's what happens at this track right here. You can easily burn your tires up here.
Yeah, well, it was Patrick O'Toole in the number 44 machine on lap number 13 going into turn one. Just gets up into the wall by himself and then unfortunately spins it around. Had a couple cars, looks like Matthew Hofert and Brian Toller also collected in that wreck with a little bit of extra damage. But something that we didn't mention earlier on, all of these trucks should have one fast repair. So even though we saw some damage on a few of these competitors earlier, they can take this full course yellow opportunity, come down pit road, get that fast repair, and also put some new tires and fuel in the truck.
But I mean, Joey, as early as this race is, some of them guys, if they just got a little bit of a scrape, or they might be dinged up, or even Marabello with just that little bit of front end damage, I don't know if I'd burn that fast repair right now. I mean, this race is it's way far from over. I mean, I think we're probably maybe I don't even think we're quarter of the way through this race. So, I mean, some of these guys, if it's not heavy, heavy damage that's just detrimental to what they're doing and how they're racing and everything, I'd hold on to that fast repair and just save it for when you may need it later on in the race.
Well, you bring up a great point that you have to kind of monitor how bad is the damage that I have. And what's interesting in the sim racing world is that these drivers, they are their own crew chief, they're their own spotter, they wear all of the hats unless they have a friend or a teammate that's able to help out. We see a couple of these drivers come down pit road here, but you have to be on top of it. And when I say that is that If you have damage, you have to evaluate it. Is it bad enough to use one of my fast repairs? Or Jacob, like what you were saying, you know what? Uncheck that box. Let's just sit in the stall, have my crew fix those repairs, and save my fast repair for later, just in case it gets messy.
Yeah, and as we've talked about already, Darlington, it's very tight. I mean, there's not a whole lot of lanes. I mean, you barely can go 3 wide here, much less 2 wide at at some points on the track. So, it's going to get tight, and some of these guys, I think it's real smart. Uncheck that box, like you said, Joey. Save that fast repair. Hold on to it later on because stuff's gonna happen. I mean, it's racing, and that's just how it is. Stuff's gonna happen. So just sit back, wait. Let's see what happens. Maybe you're not out of the woods yet.
Now, I do agree with you. It is racing and anything can happen. However, these racers have traditionally been very, very clean in how they race each other. I've loved calling this series so far and can't wait to see the rest of the action tonight as we're working lap 18 of 75. Connor Berry is going to lead the field to the restart. And to set the picture for all of you out there, looks like the first 6 trucks, your top 6, did not come down pit lane during this yellow flag. That means the likes of Tyler Green, Hayes Booth, Troy Nissen, Christy King, they are all on the fresh rubber, but they've got to make their way around these 6 trucks. And track position is so important at Darlington, but my goodness, I would want the fresh rubber, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I believe I would want it too. I mean, I don't know about Connor. He probably was saving his stuff. That's why Hayes was probably checking out a little bit right there at the start. So, but these other guys, I think they may surprise me right here. But yeah, I'm with you. I'd get the fresh rubber.
And I'm trying to see what's going on in this restart here, but looks like Connor Berry's going to lead the field, has a pretty good jump as we don't have a truck lined up on the outside of that front row there, but the number 2, most importantly, gets a great run up through the gears for the first time. Looks like there's some couple trucks, Hayes Booth and Tyler Green, side by side in turn 2 as Hayes Booth is trying to work his way up the outside of Zachary Drapkin, and what a power move off of turn 2 to stick that truck along the fence.
Yeah, Junior would be so proud of that move right there, running the high line. Junior was always good at that, but that right there is what happens right there with 4 fresh tires, like we was talking about, Joey. You were able to put the power down and be able to make those moves. As you see Hayes right here, he's just disposing of some of these guys right here that had just stayed out. As you see the guy that stayed out, he just hit the wall. So Hayes is on the move right now.
That was the number 23, Nicholas Dashley there, who hit the wall off of, I believe that was turn 4 as Hayes Booth was underneath him. And it's so tricky here that when somebody gets underneath you, you want to race, but you also have to realize that sometimes you have to lift off of the gas just to save yourself. And oh no, Nicholas having more problems in turn 1. He gets up into the fence again, and you got to think there's damage now on the 23 truck as he continues to fall.
Yeah, he is falling rapidly. I'm not 100% sure if he was one of the guys or the top 6 guys that had stayed out, but yeah,
He's on old tires. He's on old tires.
So see, he's on old tires. That right there ought to show you right there that tires are king here at this track. I mean, Connor's making it look easy for right now. He's just pulling away, but I mean,
We
that right
got
there
4
shows you.
wide at the front. The 34, AJ Marsh, almost lost it off of turn 4. That was a, my goodness, moment. Hayes Booth went from 6th place to 2nd in the corner, or in just a single corner right there, and it all was because of AJ Marsh getting wicked loose. And like you said, Jacob, look at the tires. The number 5, Hayes Booth, has fresh rubber on him, and now he's got nothing but clean air between him and Connor Berry.
Yeah, and as I was saying, I mean, you got Hayes Booth right here. He knows he's on fresh tires, and Connor knows that he's on fresh tires right now. So Hayes is probably not pushing his truck as hard because he knows he's got the fresh rubber. So he's just probably just hanging back and just doing what he can do right here. But it looks like he's actually catching him a little bit, Joey. I mean, That shows right there. That shows the tire right there. That just shows what tires mean here.
Yeah, 29.5 last lap from Hayes Booth. 29.9 out of Connor Berry, almost a half a second faster. These trucks coming out of turn 4 right now. We'll check timing and scoring as they cross this start finish here. And yes, once again, another half second taken out of our lead. Let's go ahead and ride on board with this number 5 truck as he starts to hunt down Connor Berry in the number 2 machine. I have a feeling that Hayes Booth, once he gets here, he's just going to take a look down the inside, maybe even push Connor Berry up a lane and take control of this race. Look at him here. He puts the nose down to the inside of the number 2 machine, coming off of turn 4. Now it's a drag race down to turn 1, but guess what? Hayes Booth already has got the spot.
Wow, that is that is a power move, like you said earlier, Joey, right there. A power move by Hayes Booth right there. Connor Berry, he's well, wait a minute, he's holding on to him. They are very close, bumper to bumper, going into 3.
Yes, Connor Berry did a great job of hanging tough there, but unfortunately, I think the floodgates have opened now as Tyler Green in the number 14 also, he's got fresh tires on his truck. He's lined up next behind Connor Berry, trying to get around, and you look at Connor, his car is starting to kind of wiggle around a little bit like he's driving on some gummy bears, and these trucks with fresh tires, they're going to just start to take advantage of him.
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of wonder why Connor made that decision to stay out. I mean, I'm not 100%. I don't think they have a tire limit. I think they can get as many tires as they want. So it's puzzling to me why Connor Berry would stay out right there, especially with this track surface and how this race is. And I just don't understand why he would stay out. But what we was talking about earlier with Marabello, here he is running third with that front end. Looks like he might have got it fixed. So don't count out that 92 truck. He may have something to say about this.
Great catch. There is Riley Marabello working his way up into the 3rd position already. And yeah, once again, one of the fastest trucks on track, even going by Connor Berry that lap. And then also, big shout out to Keaton Swain, the number 21 truck, still hanging out inside the top 5, having a great run. He is also on some fresh tires and looked to be lining up Connor Berry again.
Yeah, Connor's just dropping off like a rock right here. I mean, I still don't understand why he stayed out, but Keaton Swain, man, I'm telling you, I was really pulling for him to have a good finish last week, and he did. And so it's real good to see some of these guys right here have some great runs right here. As you see Keaton trying to go to the top, goes back down to the bottom. Yes, he is right at his door. And I think Connor just kind of just let him go right there because he knows that, Keaton's got the tires.
Agreed, and I think that Connor Berry is probably working the fuel strategy game. You have to think of it from the drop of the green flag. You can't just start it halfway through, and probably why Connor Berry didn't come down is the pit window wasn't open to make it on one more stop. We're only working 75 laps here, so I think Connor Berry just has a number that he wants to get to. Once he gets to it, then he knows he can come in for those tires, fuel, and be done with it, get back out on the racetrack, and then maybe think about some more freshy sets of rubber later.
Yeah, and if he is saving right here, and this sucker goes green, he might be able to try and do something. But you're talking about the fresh rubber and everything else. Well, he goes in, he gets those tires. Well, yeah, he's going to be fast, but these other guys, they ain't pitted yet. So when they go in and they get those tires, they're going to have better rubber, than he will. As you see, look at this. Marabello going for second on green. This is awesome to see right here. Bump that 92 up to second place.
I've been calling it from the beginning. I thought that Riley had a very fast truck, and look at this. Driven it all the way up into the number 2 position, and now he's got nothing but clean air between himself and the leader Hayes Booth. And want to check these lap times as things start to settle out, but hang on, we've got a full course yellow on the racetrack, and see a slow car on the front straightaway. That looks like Patrick O'Toole in the number 44, slow on the racetrack. See if we can get a look at exactly what happened here. And looks like maybe him and the 84 of Matthew Hofert got together off of turn 4, Jacob.
Yeah, they might have got together right here. As you see the 44, he was just going down the back stretch. And oh, wow. Yeah, absolutely. Looked like he just head first straight into the wall. And I saw him smoking a minute ago. So that's going to be an easy, fast repair if he's still got one. And I hope he does. As you see right here, yep, just got right up into the wall. And looked like he tried to go by him and looked like he just got loose and just came straight down. So, I hate it for the 44, and that's gonna be tough. I really hope that he held on to his fast repair though.
And I tell you what, the 44 almost took out the leaders trying to come to pit road as he was trying to get around. Thankfully, did not make any contact with them. But with that said, we've actually got the lead lap trucks coming down pit road, including Hayes Booth, Connor Berry, Keaton Swain, Tyler Green, our entire top 5. I see them up on the jack stands. That means full fuel and 4 tires, I think, is going to be the call. Maybe 2 tires for some of these lead trucks, but I'd probably want to stick to 4.
Yeah, you really want to stick to 4 here. I mean, I wouldn't take 2 unless you're desperate, and if it's coming like the 2 to go, green white checkered situation like that, I'd stick with 4 tires here, absolutely. But we almost had a lead change coming off of pit road right there. Riley almost got Hayes Booth. I mean, he was right at his right rear tire.
You're right. Yeah, Riley Marabella had a killer stop, and it seems like I'm a fanboy or something up here, but it just that 92 has been clicking off all of the right buttons so far, and he seems to be one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack, and we'll see what he can do the rest of the race because we're only about halfway. You see that working lap number 36 of 75 currently, and still a lot racing to go.
Yeah, a lot of racing to go right here, Joey. I mean, anything can happen, as we said earlier here with this race. I mean, they could, the leaders could sit there and they could pile up the whole field, and we could be sitting here looking at a 16-car pileup or something right here in a minute. I mean, you never know. You never know what's going to happen, on iRacing. And I think I'm like you. I'm starting to pull for that 92. He came from deep in the field. Like he was like mid pack probably, or maybe even farther back when he was trying to get through cars, and he just kept clicking them off. Like you said, Joey, just clicking them off, clicking them off. So he's got a truck to contend right here with Hayes Booth. But with that pit stop that we just had with this caution right here, that put Connor Berry back on fresh tires. So this is going to be a very, very interesting restart right here, Joey.
It will be a great restart, and looks like the pace truck lights are out. And before we get back going, Green, if you are interested in getting your own iRacing Series broadcast here on this channel, go on over to www.MaconiSetupShop.com. Click on the Maconi Entertainment tab up in the corner. Fill that out, and Jeff will get back to you. And you, too, can be up on the big screen here and have the commentary booth and everything, calling your races for you and your friends to go back and watch all of the action. And like I said, if you're interested, go on over to MaconiSetupShop.com. Click on that Maconi Entertainment tab up top, and Jeff can get back to you with all of those options there. And looks like the lights are out. The field is in the hands of Hayes Booth. We're rounding turn 3 right now. We're going to be getting back to the green flag action here. It's Riley Marabello that's going to be lined up alongside of him, and we're going to see what kind of jump the number 92 can have if he can hang with this number 5 truck, as it looks like these have been the fastest 2 competitors all night. And a great jump from Hayes Booth in that inside line as he already stretches it out 2 car lengths over Riley Marabello. We see Tyler Green have a little bit of contact with Connor Berry as he works the low side here as these trucks get sorted out single file.
Yeah, they are all over the place. Green just about lost it off of turn two right there. And Connor Berry just sticking it right to him. And check out that 79 right there. Barrett Paul Hemus. He won at Atlanta. He's won at a track surface like this right here. He's been just lurking. He's been back there just kind of hiding. I wouldn't count out that 79 right here. He knows how to get it done on this kind of a track surface.
Barrett is one of the fastest racers in the series, and look at how loose those cars got off of turn two. Tyler Green and Connor Berry looking more like a Formula Drift event than the stock cars out here at Darlington. But wow, a little bit of Connor Berry's real-world dirt experience paying off for him.
Yeah, they look like I said last week, they were sliding around like they was on a North Georgia dirt track. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that looked like they were definitely on a dirt track right there coming off of turn two. Both of them sideways, and it's a miracle that both of them saved it. And Connor had to lose a spot right there to Barrett, but we'll see what happens right here. Connor's trying to get right here up under Barrett. We'll see if he can get him right here.
If any of you are unfamiliar, Connor Berry is one of the rising stars in real-world off-road racing. And I think you just saw one of the reasons why he is considered such. He has such great car control out there. Doesn't matter if he's racing his off-road truck or here in the simulator on these ovals. The number two, Connor Berry, has a tremendous amount of skill out there, and pretty cool that he's putting it on display for everybody to watch us. Here he gets a great run on Barrett Polimas coming out of turn four. He's looking down to the inside. He's going to take away the fourth position.
Yeah, he took it pretty much with ease right there. Barrett might have just give him the spot right there. Didn't want to be put in a bad spot right there going into turn one. And also coming off of turn two, as we've seen before, people going in there too wide. He didn't want to be pushed up in the fence. He knows we still got some more racing to go right here. He's just going to hold on to his tires and see what he can do. But Connor's actually starting to slide it back on up there, see what he can do. As we see Keaton Swain right here. He's running pretty good, trying to get on up there and see if he can battle with these guys.
Well, I mentioned real-world dirt racers. Keaton Swain is another one of those up-and-coming real-world dirt off-road racers. Always one of the fastest cars in the simulator, as well as John Lynch in the number 90. That's a name we haven't mentioned at all today. I'm actually looking. He started way back in the 18th position, has worked his way up 12 spots, currently running in that 6th position.
Yeah, he looks like he's doing pretty good right here, running right here with Barrett. Team might have started massaging on that car just a little bit, and might have made a couple of adjustments to try to adjust to this temperature, to the track changes. And you know, he coming all the way from back to 18th all the way up to 6th. That is awesome to see right there. That's a good run for him, but he better watch his tail. Keaton Swain, he looks like he's wanting to try to get up there and mix it up.
Well, I want to jump up to the number 14 of Tyler Green. He's been right on the back of Riley Marabello, and I'm watching the lap times. Now, Hayes Booth on this restart really jumped out to a pretty big gap. He had almost over a second over Riley Marabello. But Jacob, you mentioned the tire strategy earlier. Don't burn your tires off too soon. And now this time delta has definitely evened between first and second place, and it's actually Riley that has the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, he knows that Hayes is good probably on the short run. So Riley was just like, okay, go ahead, you take it. I'm gonna try to get you right here on the long run. But maybe Tyler Green might have played that same strategy. Maybe he's thinking the same thing, as he's giving Riley an absolute mirror for him, and he's all over his tailgate right here going into turn one. So maybe they're just sitting there. They've saved their tires, and they actually look like they're actually starting to catch Hayes pretty good right here.
They took 2/10 out of Hayes Booth's lead that last lap alone. And you're right, just visually, the gap is closing every corner here. Take a look at these lap times as they go by. Complete lap number 47 here this time. And sure enough, another 10th and a half faster. Riley Marabello starting to hunt down our leader, Hayes Booth. And check that out. Here comes the number 2. Connor Berry, he's closed that gap, and we might have a 4-car race for the lead.
We may have a good 4-car race for the lead right here. Connor is starting to close in now. He's starting to really close in right here on Tyler Green, and Marabello's starting to kind of pull away from Green, and he's starting to catch Hayes Booth, and now Connor's going to join up in this right here. But I'm telling you, these 4 guys right here, they have been the talk of the race right here. All 4 of these guys. We mentioned all 4 of these guys' names.
Yeah, Tyler Green still having some troubles off of, some of these corner exits. He seems to really get the truck bound up on the front right and has to save it off of the wall, but thankfully hasn't made any contact, hasn't made any damage to his number 14 truck. But looking at the lap times, Hayes Booth jumping back to the top, 30.0, Riley 30.0, Tyler Green 30.2, Connor Berry 30.1. So yeah, looks like the number 2 truck starting to close in on Tyler Green.
He is starting to close in on him in a hurry right here. Connor Berry has actually just sat back there and watched all 3 of these guys just drive away from him. Now, this long run, he's starting to close back into him right here. So Tyler Green better have his mirror ready. He better be ready for something. Because I'm telling you, Connor gets to him, he's gonna take a run to try to get up under him.
Well, Connor Berry 30.2, Tyler Green 30.4 that last lap, and you see Connor has closed it in even more now, and here we're working lap 52 of 75. These opportunities are starting to dwindle away. If you don't catch him soon, you're gonna run out of laps.
Yeah, time is of the essence right now as Connor's just trying like heck just to try to get to him. Looks like he might have lost a little bit of ground right there to Tyler Green right there. I don't know if he got in the fence or if he just got real tight right there off 2, but turn 2 is, like I said earlier, it's one of the toughest corners here at this track, and probably one of the toughest corners in all of NASCAR, period. So they're just trying to manage themselves to not fence it right here, because if they fence it, they know their race is over with.
The top 4 has spread out just a little bit, so let's jump back to the number 90 of John Lynch in the 6th position here. He's chasing Barrett Polimas. Like you mentioned, Barrett, usually one of our fastest competitors out here, still inside the top 5, but got a mirror full of the number 90 truck.
Yeah, Lynch has been doing pretty good. Like we said earlier, he started way deep in the field right here. So this is actually a win for him. But if he can get past Barrett Polimas, that's going to be more than a win right there. Trying to get him up closer to these other guys. I don't know if he'll be able to catch him. Here he goes down to the bottom. Oh, wow. Looks like Barrett might have just let him go right there. That's kind of crazy to see that right there. For Barrett just to let him go, but he's going to take it right on his tailgate right here, but move Lynch up a spot.
Well, I don't blame Barrett because you look at they've dropped back over 3 seconds now since Connor Berry got by them. And I wonder if Polimas is just maybe struggling with the truck a little bit. Maybe he just isn't quite comfortable here at Darlington, or maybe even has some damage that's holding him back from making that ultimate lap time. But wow, what a race so far for the number 90 of John Lynch. Up into the top 5, that means 13 positions gained so far from his initial starting spot way back there in 18th.
He is absolutely, I bet you right now, he's ecstatic. He wants these 20 laps to go by as quick as possible. He wants to, I know he probably wants to win, but if you started that deep, and if I started deep in the field and I got a top 5 like that, I'd be ecstatic about that. So I know he's jumping for joy right now, but the lady in black, she can jump up and bite you. I hope it doesn't. I hope she really does not do this right here to that 90 truck. So I'm pulling for him. I hope he can hold on to it right here.
Well, I tell you what, Hayes Booth has hit the afterburners out front. I wonder if he was saving it just a little bit because he's jumped it out to 3 seconds over Riley Marabello, and Riley's got over a second on Tyler Green. And I'm actually looking for Connor Berry. I
He was
think
in the
that Connor
pits.
Berry's in pit lane right now. I wonder if this is a strategy call. It must be trying to take some tires, put some fuel in the truck, not go a lap down if he can. We're going to see how this plays out. I like the call doing something different, maybe try to catch him off guard.
Yeah, he tried it last week and he kind of stalemated at it, pitting when the other two guys didn't. I mean, I know Blake did, but Barrett didn't. But it kind of stalemated for him last week. So maybe he's trying to play that same deal. But with Connor Berry having fresh tires, like you said, it might start pulling some of these guys to pit road right here because they know he's going to be hauling the mail right here.
Well, that's exactly the point of pitting early, and especially at such a low grip racetrack like Darlington, is that this is a huge advantage. The lap time that Connor Berry can put down now can eat chunks of track position out of everybody that's staying out on the racetrack. And I'm looking, I think I see Lance Marsh come down pit road. He is another one of these early stoppers, but the rest of the trucks still out there turning these green flag laps. And got my eye on Connor Berry, 29.9 his last lap. That was a full second faster than our overall leader, Hayes Booth. And it's only a matter of time until he crawls that gap and he will be in the lead.
He hasn't went a lap down, and I don't believe he has. He might have actually got really lucky to be able to stay on the lead lap right here. But Connor's really starting to roll right here. I'm telling you, them 4 fresh tires are going to look good coming up through the field. So, yeah, I think it's actually going to pull some of these guys down pit road here pretty soon. So, pit road might be getting real busy right here, Joey.
Roy Nissen, Franklin Monick already down pit lane. And Connor did go one lap down with that pit stop. But if everybody has to come down, I think that's going to be okay because he's cutting these huge chunks of time out right now. And once again, 29.7 out of Connor Berry. That's 1.2 seconds faster than our leader, Hayes Booth. And you just wonder, is it too early if Hayes Booth gets those fresh tires on? Can he drive right around Connor Berry if it's a green flag? But I tell you what, I like the strategy out of the number 2.
Yeah, he made a very
Here
big
comes
change. Here
here
we
comes
go,
Hayes
Connor.
Booth. Here comes Hayes Booth right now down into pit road. So this is going to be the telltale sign right now at Hayes Booth. Can he nail this pit stop? He can't overshoot the box at all. Needs to stop on his marks. And here's the other thing, Jacob. Do you take 4 or do you only take 2?
You take 4. There is no way you take 2 right here. You take 4 all day long. Give me 4 Goodyear tires and let me eat. That's exactly what you say right now.
Well, while we watch Hayes Booth come down pit road, I've got my eye on Connor Berry because he just came out of turn number 2, entering turn number 3. He's back. I believe he's going to be getting his lead lap back here, and he's going to be jumping up to battle the likes of Hayes Booth as he comes out of pit road. And I'm checking this out. Hayes Booth still stationary. Now he's finally rolling out, and look at this. The number 2, Connor Berry, is almost a full straightaway in front of the number 5.
Yeah, Connor made a absolute great call right there, but you got to sit here and think about what Connor just did. He's been out there for just a little bit. You got to think, how hard did he run that truck? How much tires or how much tire wear did he burn off? Like I said earlier, this track surface is absolutely beat all to crap. It's going to be really, really hard right here. If he did not save his tires, Boat's going to catch him.
That's what we're gonna have to see is this cat and mouse game. But Connor Berry has to work his way through some lapped cars. Christopher Fathke right there in front of him. In fact, gets into the wall. Great job of avoiding by Connor Berry. You saw him not get suckered into going too fast into that entry, and great heads-up driving from the number 2 machine. And he continues to lay down very competitive lap times, 30.3. 29.4 out of Hayes Booth. So you're right, Jacob. The number 5 is on fire.
Yeah, he is absolutely coming right at it. I hope that Connor didn't burn his stuff up too bad. As you see right here, Riley Marabello, he's just trying to hold on right here. Maybe he's trying to catch a quick caution right here. It is very possible. We've already seen a couple of these guys get loose right here, especially at the start and any time. And oh, here comes Connor right here. He's coming right up on Riley.
Yeah, and it's something to note that there's 3 trucks on the racetrack that haven't pitted. Riley Marabello, John Lynch, and Nicholas Dashley. Those are the 3 trucks that have yet to make a pit stop. And so essentially what Connor Berry just did is he got his lap back the hard way. And I'm looking at Hayes Booth back there. He's got probably about 20 car lengths between him and Riley Marabello. And Jacob, 7 laps to go. Do you think that extreme fuel saving that maybe one of these top 3 trucks can squeak it out?
It's possible, but they had to be saving. I would think they would have to be saving way early. And the way Riley was running earlier, I don't know if he's going to be able to save or I just I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see him win it. I know we've been talking about him all race. I mean, it's like you said, we're fans of him. I'd love to see him squeak it out right here, but he looks like he is absolutely struggling out of that or he is saving big time right now.
Oh, Connor Berry up into the wall. That's going to do it for the number 2 machine. Hayes Booth going to take advantage. Oh, such a bummer for Connor Berry. He just took a little bit too much speed into, I believe that was turn 3, got up into the wall. And Hayes Booth said, yes, I will take advantage right around the number 2 machine. And now, with only 5 laps to go, this becomes the fuel game. Can Riley Marabello and John Lynch stretch this thing out for just a handful of more laps to keep it in front of Hayes Booth?
I really hope they do. And if this 90, I know we was talking about him earlier, just the top 5, that would be awesome. This guy's running second right now with 4 to go. If he can pull this off right here, this is going to be a major upset in this race.
Well, and I'm looking at here, and it looks like the 92 is, in fact, putting in the clutch going into the corners and about halfway down the straightaway. So the number 92 is in full extreme fuel-saving mode, just trying to make it to the very end of the race. And I gotta believe that the number 90 of John Lynch is doing the same thing. And this might work for him. Working 3 laps to go. They're doing 33-second lap times. There's no way that Hayes Booth can crawl back almost 12 plus seconds that he's got right now. It's just a matter of if there's enough fuel in that fuel cell.
I would really think if he's sitting there clutching it that hard, he is going to be very, very close right here. But he's made his bed right here, Joey. He's just gotta go with it and see what happens right here. Is you see some of these guys right here trying to get around him right here. Riley is just holding on and praying that he's able to pull this off right here.
Yeah, and that was the number 23 of Nicholas Dashley. I'm not sure. I think that he actually might be out of gas, but 2 laps to go. Riley Marabello heavily off the pace as he's just trying to squeak it through, and looks like he's going to try to follow the number 23 truck now as we're going to get the white flag. There's Barney, the flag man, waves that white flag.
He's out of gas.
Look at this. Riley Marabello,
yeah,
he's got to be out of gas. He's only doing 110 miles an hour down into turn 1. That's going to do it. The number 92 is officially out of gas. The number 90, John Lynch, your new leader, out of turn 2, scrapes the wall just a little bit. Is this going to be the ultimate story? Oh, no! The number 90's out of gas going down the back straightaway. Does he have enough in the tank to keep it in front of Hayes Booth? Hayes Booth is out of turn 4 right now. John Lynch trying to coast it to the finish line. Your winner, the number 90, John Lynch. Oh my goodness. On fumes, takes home the checkered flag. 17 positions.
That is absolutely amazing right there. I know we said earlier that fifth would be a win, but I'm going to tell you right now, that guy right there has got to be absolutely ecstatic right now. I am so proud to see him pull that right there off. I hate it for Riley right there at the end, but John Lynch, 90 truck, go to victory lane, baby. You earned it.
Yeah, Riley scoots across out of gas there. I think he still is in the top 10, but we're going to take just a really quick break and be back with the official finishing results. Well, you just saw some assisted donuts there for our extreme fuel save winner, the number 90 truck, John Lynch. He started way back in 18th of 21 trucks here today, all the way up and takes home the checkered flag with an oddball strategy, but guess what? It paid off, and whatever brings home the chicken dinner, that's all that matters. Hayes Booth coming home in the second place position, Connor Berry there in third, Tyler Green fourth, Barrett Polimas in the fifth spot, Keaton Swain sixth, Lance Marsh seventh, Riley Marabello eighth, Nicholas Dashley in the ninth, and Matthew Jarrett rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, it was an absolute great race right here for us, Joey. I mean, it's awesome to see this 90 truck right here be able to pull this off. I know he's probably sitting there trying to figure out how to get that sucker moving right there. So, but I know he's out of gas, and I know we talked about this a while ago. I think this right here is an absolute upset. This is an underdog win. It's awesome to see, a win go for the underdogs right here.
Definitely. And to finish this out here, looks like 11th place is Christy King, 12th, Franklin Monick, AJ Marsh there in 13th. Paul Mikologic is your first car, one lap down in the 14th spot. Christopher Fathke, 15th. Troy Nissen, 16th. Matthew Hofert, 17th. 18th position, James Burke, a few more laps down. And then the rest of these competitors had some more problems and multiple laps down or retirements. Patrick O'Toole, Zachary Drapkin, and Brian Toller. And looks like we have, in fact, our race winner, John Lynch, is going to be joining me here. Wow, John, what a race. Can you believe that you took home the checkered flag just now?
No, I cannot.
Well, I gotta hand it to you. It looked like you and Riley were trying to stretch it on gas, and you barely made it. I think you crossed the line 2 seconds in front of Hayes Booth, just barely. When did you decide to make that strategy call and try to stretch it on the fuel?
As soon as my teammate Riley said, we're short on fuel, I was ahead of Barrett at my other teammate. And I'm like, I'm gonna try and make it. I think he said his Streamlabs said he was good on fuel, and then he wasn't. So I think the only reason I didn't win is I won is because Race Labs or whatever Barrett uses gave him some misinformation. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I think I can if I clutch super early. There's no way they can make that much ground on me, even with clutching like that. And I passed my teammate Riley into turn 2 on the final lap. I'm like, man, that sucks, but I really want to win.
Well, we saw that all unfold, and yeah, you're right. There is no way that those guys were going to catch you from behind as long as you were able to keep an okay pace. But it wasn't just the fuel game that got you the checkered flag today. We saw you move up 17 positions in total, and you raced your way all the way up inside the top 5 based off of speed. Was it a plan to start at the back, or what was the game there?
No, my computer actually crashed in qualifying. I felt like I could pit early or start up front and kind of run with Barrett and Riley and just maybe get a shot at a top 5, and then I get in, I turn my ignition on, I go to flip my starter, and my iRacing crashes. So I'm like, well, start back, I guess. But I think that was a blessing in disguise since they all wadded up in T1 there. So
Well, yeah, there was that big accident there in turn 1, and looking at the schedule, looks like we go to the Bristol Motor Speedway, but the dirt track. How do you feel in terms of comfortability with that car combination?
that is way out of my comfort zone. I'm I may just kind of run around and attempt to run, but I'm not gonna be competing for a win there. I'm not really good on dirt. I'm not sure how rubber touches dirt there and how grip. So
Well, don't count yourself out after what we just saw tonight with this fuel save run taking home the checkered flag. And you are the 4th different winner in 5 races here in the eStockCar World Series. So a great pool of talent of all of these drivers that you're competing against. And before I let you go, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
yeah, I just want to give a shout out to my girlfriend Liv for watching. She always watches all my streams, and I see your grandfather put in the chat. Way to go, Jono. So hey, I got a win with my girlfriend's grandpa watching. So that's cool. Hi, Mr. A, and yeah, shout out to Sam because that was my throwback for tonight. Um, yeah, we're running our wins from last season from a different league as throwbacks tonight. So shout out to Sam and Barrett and Riley.
Well, that was your winner, John Lynch. The shout out to Mr. A watching here on the stream. How's it going, Mr. A? Always love to have everybody watching here on the eStockCar World Series. And John, we'll see you next week at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that's going to bring up Hayes Booth, the 2nd place finisher, standing alongside Jacob Reeves.
Hey, Booth, man, I know you really wanted to win that one right there. I know you led probably over half the race, but tell us about your night, bud.
Well, got mixed feelings. It's kind of on the one hand, we started on pole, led the most laps, had the fastest lap, and finishing second is really good points. It's just, it's disappointing. After putting up that good of a run, finishing second, because I really did not expect them to be able to save that much fuel. I was talking to my crew chief, Gino Mero. By the way, thanks, Gino, for spotting me and being my crew chief. We were trying to work it out, trying to see if we could save fuel, and we didn't think there was any possible way that we were going to be able to save fuel and make it. So I was shocked there at the end when they made it. But yeah, we put up a really good race, had a good run. This should help in the points for sure. It's disappointing, but can't complain about a good podium. It's always good to finish on the podium.
Well, Darlington always throws us some crazy races right here. And next week we're going to Bristol Dirt. So what do you think about your chances? I mean, do you think you might have a good shot at, going at Bristol Dirt next week?
Um, I think I could finish top 7 at Bristol Dirt. I'm definitely not dirt is definitely not my specialty. But I think a top 10, top 7, something like that is possible. Um, I think that might be the goal heading into that race. So if I win that, I'll be surprised, but we'll just have to find out.
All right. Well, last thing I got to ask you, got anybody you want to give a shout out? Any sponsors? Anybody watching at home?
Yeah, for sure. Just gotta thank my parents. I think they're watching the broadcast right now. Thanks to them for supporting me throughout my sim racing journey. And just my whole family in general and all my friends. Uh, Thanks to everybody in my teams at Jesus Take the Wheel Racing and Maverick Motorsports. Uh, Everybody at eStockCar World Series for putting this awesome league together. You guys at Maconi for putting on these awesome broadcasts, and most of all, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
But I can respect that 100%. But I can respect that 100%. Hayes Booth coming in second tonight, and appreciate you talking to us, bud.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys.
It is
All right.
awesome to hear all of the family shout outs being given because something that was really cool, Jacob, just before we get out of here, I was actually down at Daytona International Speedway this past week for the Rolex 24. And not only was I spotting up there on the tower, but I was involved with a sim competition and we flew 4 of the best sim racing, road racing kids out there to have a finals at Daytona International Speedway. So even all of this racing that these competitors are doing here in their own homes, it can lead to a great future out on the actual racetrack too. So it's great to see the support that all of these racers and competitors are getting from their fans and family. And with that, we want to thank tonight's admin team as well as our broadcast partners here at Maconi Entertainment. Calling the action tonight was myself, Joey Atterbury, alongside Jacob Reeves in the booth and Joe Donahue on the controls. Thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in to tonight's racing action, and we hope to see you on February 7th for the next race of the eStockCar World Series at Bristol, like I mentioned, for the first dirt race of the season. Stay tuned to the Maconi Entertainment social media pages for all of our upcoming broadcasts so you don't miss a thing. And this has been a production of Maconi Entertainment, and we'll see you next time.